There are a few things in life that make me say, ah, my recliner, Mama's fried chicken, and the perfect cup of coffee. The warmth and smell of a hot, fresh cup of Community Coffee at Big Red Store starts your day off right every time. Community Coffee uses 100% Arabica coffee beans, roasted and blended using recipes perfected over 95 years. Dark roast, medium roast, in-between roast, and more. Big Red Stores is K-Cups for single serve or the new Thermal Fresh dispensers with a brew time displayed right on the front so you know it's always fresh.
Welcome into the first edition of Panther Coach's Corner with Dexter Hendricks. I'm Jim Gardner. And, Coach, it's basketball season. I know you got to be excited and chomping at the bit.
Yeah, we're very excited. We're very curious and excited to see how this team looks this year. I know it's extremely early, and probably every coach in the country is wondering the same thing. But we are. Our kids are excited. We're excited to be back on the floor and ready to get the year started.
Before we talk about this season, let's go back to last season real quick. It was a 20-win season for the Benton Panthers. I know that's always a high water mark coaches want to get to, that 20-win mark, and you achieved that last year.
It is. That's a perfect way of putting it. 20 wins, I found out since I've been here, that's not easy to do. That's difficult. That takes a lot of hard work and a lot of, playing very good basketball throughout the season. So really proud of our group that we had last year. Our senior group had some really good leaders. Had some good basketball players, but even better people, and that we felt like that was the difference in last year. And we really feel like we can build a lot from last year to this year's team, and that's something that we're trying to do very early. But I think our kids learned a lot of leadership lessons, a lot of how being an everyday guy and things like that nature with our guys that we had leading this team last year.
And 20 wins against the schedule you played last year, very impressive in that new blended conference. You went up against Mills, Parkview, some of those Little Rock teams that are at the top of the rankings every year.
Yeah, and it'll be the same way this year, but you're right. We played some we felt like Mills. I felt like Mills is one of the best high school basketball teams I ever coached against last year. They had a really special group, and with Darius Hall and see what he's doing, up at Fayetteville right now with the Gafford from El Dorado, and seeing those guys on television playing for the Hogs. I was watching the game the other night, and I looked back and we were trying to guard these guys last year. And so the challenge of that last year was, you're right, getting to 20 wins, we're playing that type of schedule. You got to just give our kids credit and from really just working day in and day out to do that.
You had a good senior class last year, and a couple of those guys have gone on to the next level to continue to play. Why don't you talk about Weston and Shaheed and what they're doing in college ball?
You bet. Weston, he had a burning desire from day one. When I got here, when he was a sophomore, that was his goal. He wanted to help do everything he could here to be, lead the Benton to as far as we could go. But after that, he always had that desire to play college basketball. And wherever it was, he just really tried to focus in on the best fit for him. Extremely smart, smart kid in the classroom, does a great job in the classroom. So I think East Texas Baptist, where he landed, is a perfect fit for him. Weston's a great individual, great person, and they do a lot of things that are unique at East Texas Baptist. Focus a lot on values and things of that nature. So I think he found a perfect spot and the style of play, the way they play, and it didn't take them very long to figure out how well he could shoot it and what he could do. So he's starting for those guys and playing a lot of minutes. So it's really exciting to see him play. And actually had a chance. He played at Henderson a few weeks ago and had a chance to go watch those guys play and him play. And he played really well. And it's always fun to watch Weston because you can tell how much he loves the game when he plays, and he just enjoys playing the game. So that was really fun to see. And then Shaheed, he had a great senior year, was extremely enjoyable to coach, a hard worker. Brought it every single day, and we thought he'd have a really good chance to go UAPB. Really got recruited really hard by those guys throughout the season. Just didn't pan out, but I know he found a great spot at Mid-South Junior College in West Memphis, and his dad actually lives in Wynne, Arkansas, so about 20 miles away, so he's real close to Dad, and I think he's very comfortable where he's at. And I've actually talked to their head coach, Chris Parker, a little bit about Shaheed this season, and they love him. They find the same things we found in him here, very coachable, hardworking, love his length, love his talent. So he's a kid that's just going. Both of those guys are just going to keep getting better and better with their work ethic and their personalities.
Outstanding. Since the end of last season, you lose those two guys along with Fred Harris, 3 key contributors on that 20-win team. And now basketball is not a winter sport. It's a year-round sport. So since the end of last season, why don't you catch us up on what's been going on in Benton Panther football, there you go, basketball to get ready for this season.
Yeah, you're right. It's a year-round sport, and it's something that we spend a lot of time as a coaching staff. How do we attack this? How do we do this? You get one of those things. Do we want to play 100 games and every weekend? And is that going to burn the kids out? But at the same time, we want to keep, the kids want to play. They want to get out there. So trying to find, do we do a lot of skill stuff? Do we skill development? Do we get in the weight room? So finding the right balance for that, I think, is something we're always looking for. And we did. We felt like we had a successful spring and summer. And I think the biggest thing that we try to focus on as a staff is to start to develop that chemistry. Start to develop, all right, what guys are going to do this for us or that for us. But at the same time, a lot of these guys have never played a varsity game coming to this year. I've never played minutes, and if they did, it was spot minutes here and there. So just getting that experience and that chemistry going was huge, and we started that last spring. We played had a unique opportunity with Salt County Elite to play about 15 games before school was even out as a group and as this team together. So that we felt like that was a big help. And then we got into the summer with our camps and team camps, and we finished in Dallas, Texas in the Great American Shootout and played really well down there. Lost by 3 to a EYBL team. If it, in the AAU circuit, that's a kind of special word, EYBL, and what those letters stand for. So taking those guys down to the wire like that and finishing in the Final Four of a big tournament in Dallas was, I think, a big confidence booster for our guys. And we started to see, like, we can play. We play together, and we play like this. We can do some really good things. So that was a big summer for us. And then the preseason, you enter the school year and it's football season, and the guys are all excited about watching football, and everyone's excited about. And it's kind of a grind those 12 weeks, and how we do the same thing. We spend time. How do we attack these 12 weeks? How it's a long 12 weeks. The kids get tired of practicing against each other by the end of those 12 weeks. So trying to balance that and find the right combination with that is a challenge, but our guys, we felt like they handled it really well.
I know last year one of your real big emphasis in off-season was conditioning. Talked about getting stronger, a little more endurance. Have you had a focal point with the group this year?
Yes, we really have, and it's been the same thing. We sit down and, as coaches, we always think about our last game. So before we entered the season, we thought about Pine Bluff at the state tournament, and we thought about, what could we have done to, for a different outcome. And we led most of that game, but we felt like we ran out of gas a little bit in that fourth quarter. So that even added another level to our conditioning. We wanted to make sure our guys were in great shape, and we felt like that's something we can control. So we did the same thing this preseason, focused a lot on conditioning in the weight room, and our guys will tell you that that our conditioning was at another level this preseason. And we even saw clips, knowing that we got tremendous respect for Cersei and what they do, but we've already clipped some film for our guys and say, this is the difference. Cersei was getting tired, and you guys were just getting started. And we hope our kids see that, and that's never enjoyable to run sprints or run line drills, but if they see the difference and see how, what their work can pay off, we feel like that helps. So those are two very, very big emphasis we focused again this preseason.
Wonderful. Before we talk about some of the players on this year's Panther squad, why don't you talk about the coaching staff, because you've got some new coaches down at the junior high and the new program at the 7th grade level. I know you got Coach Fishburne coming back, old dependable, but what about the rest of the staff?
Well, start with Coach Fishburne. We gave him a lot of responsibility. I say we did. I gave him a lot of responsibility defensively, and he does such a great job of that defensively, and he's really thrived in our first couple of games. And we feel very blessed to have him. Keep coming back year after year and bring to the table what he brings is special. And then we'll go down to our 2 new junior high coaches, and Coach Chase Halbrooks, a young guy, comes from a small school in Missouri, graduated from Greene County Tech, high school from Greene County Tech, and played for really successful high school coaches. So he brings a lot to the table as well. very energetic. Good basketball mind, basketball junkie. Loves the game basketball. So he's brought a lot of good stuff to us. And then we hired former Panther Josh Brown. Was a really good two-sport athlete here when he graduated from Benton. I guess a few years ago now. It seems like just around another day. But he's great. Kids love him. He understands a great football, basketball hire because he played both, understands both of the game, and that's hard to do nowadays. To find a guy that can coach both and that understands both of the games. And so I know he did a great job for football in junior high, being offensive coordinator, and he's doing a great job for us. He took our kids' 8th grade group to North Little Rock yesterday and played a very competitive game. And we feel enough confidence he's taking our 8th grade group again today to North Little Rock play another game while our 9th grade team's playing in Bryant. So we feel very, very fortunate about those guys at junior high, having them at that level. And then Coach Crumpton and Coach Rickett at our 7th grade level, we're saying we're very blessed there. I've known Coach Crumpton from a long time. I coached with him at Russellville my very first year in coaching when I was at Russellville High School as assistant. He was at the junior high, head junior high basketball coach. So he brings a lot of knowledge, been coaching for a long time, just knows all the little things and what to do. And he's another great hire for football, basketball. He's coached both. He knows both. So we feel, I think, not only the basketball program, but I know the athletic program feels very fortunate to get those guys. And then Coach Rickett, tease him all the time. Should have been coaching for a long time. I think he's really enjoying it and having a lot of fun. So we really like our coaching staff this year.
Outstanding. Well, that's a review of last year and a look at the Panther coaching staff. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll preview the 2017-2018 season and talk about the Benton Panthers. This is the Panther Coaches Corner with Dexter Hendricks.
There are a few things in life that make me say, ah, my recliner, Mama's fried chicken, and the perfect cup of coffee. The warmth and smell of a hot, fresh cup of community coffee at Big Red Store starts your day off right every time. Community Coffee uses 100% Arabica coffee beans, roasted and blended using recipes perfected over 95 years. Dark roast, medium roast, in-between roast, and more. Big Red Store uses K-Cups for single serve or the new Thermal Fresh dispensers with a brew time displayed right on the front so you know it's always fresh.
Bring home the best in local high school sports with Fidelity Local 6. Catch the players, the rivalries, and the fans that make game days electrifying in your hometown. Watch live broadcasts or on demand with Fido, the whole home DVR entertainment experience. It's the local coverage you want. Fidelity Local 6, the best in local high school sports coverage.
God, did you see that? Did you see that?
Welcome back to the Coach's Corner with Dexter Hendricks. Coach, you got 2 returning starters this year. Jay Peters and Evan Sims going to be your team leaders, both seniors.
Yeah, 2 seniors that we're really going to rely on, not only for scoring or rebounding or assists or anything like that, but a lot of leadership. And, we use the term, they've got experience and they've kind of gone through the fire a lot. And we think that's huge in high school basketball. Those guys that it just means a little bit more to them when they go play these games. So I have those 2 seniors like that. They're going to play a big role for us. Is really important. We feel like those guys can really do a lot of good things for us, along with Connor Croft, who's another senior that's been starting the last couple of games for us and playing a lot of minutes. So Connor brings a unique ability to change a lot of things up defensively for us with his size and length and his ability to protect the basket. And so those 3 guys, along with Dylan Robbins, another senior that Dylan had a great game last game in our opener against Cersei. So all 4 of those guys we expect to be on the floor a lot for us and do some good things. So they'll bring back a lot of experience and we'll put a lot on their shoulders.
Let's talk about Jay just a little bit. He will be a 3-year starter this year, started as a sophomore. And I get the impression from some of the things that you've said in the preseason, this is going to be a guy you think other teams are going to key on.
Yes, I think so. You're looking at our benefit game, Jay scored right at 20 points, and then our season opener against Cersei scored 31. So we know that's coming. We know that people are going to try to deny him the basketball and take him out of the game, so forth. So to do some things, I think the biggest thing is just I think Jay would tell you first he needs his teammates for scoring. He needs his teammates making shots. And the most impressive thing I think about Jay of this last year has been his transition from the shooting guard to the point guard spot. And that was a big concern. I wouldn't wouldn't say worry, but a big concern in who was going to play that point guard spot for us after Shaheed left. Shaheed was more of a natural one point guard, and he just very unselfish and did a lot of good things. And Jay's a natural scorer, so trying to transition that over the spring and summer and trying to figure out, a lot of teaching, a lot of breakdown films, stuff like that with Jay. We feel like he's done a great job of that. His motor is still just attack 24/7. He wants to attack, and sometimes, the point guard position, you don't need to do that all the time. You got to, mix it up a little bit and try to get your team and your teammates involved. And he's done a great job of that so far. And we know it's extremely early and challenges are coming and bumps and bruises here and there. But as of right now, he's done a good job of that. And we need him scoring. We need him, sharing the basketball, getting his team involved. A lot of times we're going to expect him to guard the best player on the other team. So he's got a lot on his shoulders, and that's something we're very demanding and try to push him during practice and prepare him for those tough situations that are coming up.
So you got Jay out front running the offense and putting pressure on the defense. You mentioned Connor Croft in the middle, big 6'7" guy. He's really shot up and turned into a great post guy for you.
He has. We're really excited about Connor. Connor's come a long ways, not only in his game but his personality, and as a young man, I think he's matured in a lot of ways. He's one that we still really want to see, with a lot of our guys, when it gets really tough, when you're on the road and they call a foul, and it's really not a foul, it's just a foul because you're on the road, that type of stuff. How are we going to react to that? How are our guys going to respond to when a team makes a run? And we saw that being down 6 in the third quarter against Searcy in our home opener right here at home, and we responded in a positive way. Had a strong third quarter and took the lead in the fourth and was able to finish and win by 13. So Connor's a guy, though, that he brings, I think, something special that we really hadn't had since I've been here. A 6'7" presence, good size, good strength, and good post defender, and he's really smart with the basketball too. So we're excited about him and we'll see what he can bring to us.
Yeah, another senior, Evan Sims. He brings some size to you, but just a really good team player, offense and defense.
Yes, Evan's really fun to coach. He's got a great personality. He's a guy that's worked really hard over his 3 years. Comes to practice every day and does the right thing, and he's one that I think his role is going to expand a lot more. Last year, you could say he was more type of a role player, but this year he's going to have to do some big things for us, and he understands that, he knows that, and what's one we're really pushing every day in practice as well. But his size and his length are really special. He rebounds the ball really well for his position, and one thing he does great is, Jay wants to get out and run a lot, and Evan loves running the floor. So that's been something we've seen in the preseason and in the spring and this past summer, that they work really well and transition together. So that's something we'll really try to key on.
Another senior, Dylan Robbins, you mentioned him. He really came on as the season went on last year. And what are you expecting out of Dylan this year?
Well, Dylan, our biggest thing with Dylan is just being consistent, being here every day, working extremely hard. Dylan's really crafty is the best way to describe him. He does a good job of using pass fakes, shot fakes. He's kind of in between guys, really not a guard, but really not a post. He plays a lot of the 5 for us, but also he can play the 3 for us. So he's really good passer out of our high post area, out of our offense, and he's a tough, hard-nosed kid that is not afraid to get in there and get dirty and do the dirty work. And so Dylan's one that same thing. He's never really scared and never really afraid of anything. He's just going in there head first. So we're looking at him to bring some big minutes for us as well.
That 5th starting spot is a bit of a revolving door right now. You're looking for the right chemistry and the right combination, trying some different guys out at that 5th spot. Who all is in the running for that?
Well, we've started Carson Cates in both our games. Carson's really turned into a good basketball player. He's one that shoots the ball really well. But the best thing about Carson, he wants to do what's best for the team. And that's right. It was big for us in our Searcy win. We got Jay off the ball and let him start scoring the high post some, and Carson was able to run the point for us, and that was huge. Carson wasn't making shots or wasn't hitting threes or anything like that, but just getting Jay the chance to get off the ball and play in the high post against our zone the other night was really big, and we got to give that's a lot of credit to Carson. But Carson's done really well this whole preseason. He's a good leader, great kid, great communicator, probably our best communicator on our team, so he's done really well at that position. But Grant Shellnuts really came along. He's shooting the ball really well. We've started him in a couple games. Sawyer Sawyer Oates is another guy that's really special. We feel like he can be a special player, very unique, kind of inside-out guy. Malik McClendon's another guy that can play a lot of minutes for us. Is about a 6'3", really long arms, got great length, great athlete, great rebounder, and and Carl Ross is another guy. So we feel like that might be an advantage for us this year we hadn't had. We've got some depth. In both games we played, we've been able to play about 8 or 9 guys in the first half, and that's something we hadn't had any foul trouble yet in the 2 games we played in, and we feel like you got to give credit to that's our bench. And we talk about all the team. We can just preach team, and family. They kind of understand that the game gets a lot easier.
Very important when you're playing some of these teams like a Mills that likes to get up and down the court. You never have enough bodies, can you?
No, you can't. That's the little things. You look at great successful teams and teamwork, they have good depth. And we played, you mentioned Little Rock Mills. When we played them last year, they played 12 guys in the first quarter. Little Rock Mills did. So, and you look at the season they had, they won a state championship and beat a very good Parkview team in the state championship game. So trying to build depth. I know every coach in the country is saying that. We're building depth, and we love our team. And if you're saying you don't like your team this time of year, you're in for a long season. We understand that, but we are. That's something we're really trying to build on, is our depth, and try to build a bench, because we feel like that can be a big advantage for us.
Some of the other supporting role team members that you got on this year's squad.
Well, I really like a sophomore, Jalen Reed. Had a good junior high career for us here as a 9th grader, and he's brought some really special things for us already. Jackson Hedden is another kid with great size, 6'7", post player that's getting better every single day, has a great work ethic, great attitude, so we feel like he can help us over time. And then we got a couple of sophomores, Colton Phillips, who can really shoot the ball real well, Tyler Beam, who handles the ball real well for us, and Michael Green, who's another sophomore that has gotten really, really better. He's about 5'5", but plays like he's 6'2" sometimes. And, that plays fearless, plays really, really hard. So we're excited about those sophomore guys as well in our junior class. So we hope we can just keep building these guys and get a lot of these guys experience, because kind of like last year's team, we graduated a lot of guys, but it's kind of the next group up, and that's our mentality we want here at Benton High School.
Talk about your non-conference schedule. You've played East Stem in a benefit game and won that. You won the opener against Searcy. Today you go to BB. Who else is on the slate in non-conference play?
Well, we like our non-conference schedule, and in a way I say we like it. I might not say that here in about a month, but it get very challenging and competitive. We go to BB. We go to Greenbrier, to BB tonight, and go to Greenbrier on Thursday. We come back from Thanksgiving and go to Camden Fairview, and then go to Catholic. So, in the coaching world, we say a lot of times you're not a good team or a great team until you win on the road. And we've been talking to our guys a lot about that, and just trying to go into someone's home, and they're trying to protect their floor, and we're trying to get a win. And we just feel like that's a lot of fun. So I think the challenge of the really good teams we play and being on the road early in the year is going to be a very big challenge for our team, especially our experience level. So that's something we look forward to. And we go to Hot Springs, playing the Spa City tournament again, and we're hosting our classic here at Benton again that has some really good teams in that. So you're right, we should be ready to face some really good competition when conference or blended play comes around with our non-conference schedule.
Great Panther preview from Coach Dexter Hendricks today. The Panthers go to BB, and we'll have the broadcast for you on Fidelity Local 6. We'll also have non-conference broadcasts of the game at Camden Fairview and the Saline County Shootout with the Bryant Hornets, and that'll lead us into the conference season when we'll have all of the Benton Panther games during the 5A, 6A blended conference on Fidelity Local 6. Coach Hendricks, best of luck this year. Thanks for being with us. This has been Panther Coach's Corner with head coach Dexter Hendricks.
There are a few things in life that make me say, ah. My recliner, Mama's fried chicken, and the perfect cup of coffee. The warmth and smell of a hot, fresh cup of community coffee at Big Red Store starts your day off right every time. Community Coffee uses 100% Arabica coffee beans, roasted and blended using recipes perfected over 95 years. Dark roast, medium roast, in-between roast, and more. Big Red Store uses K-Cups for single serve or the new Thermal Fresh dispensers with a brew time displayed right on the front so you know it's always fresh.